Exchange Committee.
Yeah, you break your teeth on that one.
Welcome back, our co-host, the Admiral Bill Stubblefield. William?
Good morning, Rob. Great to be here. Beautiful morning, but a risky morning.
Yeah.
Drive carefully.
Also by John, that's a great question, Doyle.
Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here, too.
Good to have you. And Dylan, what's going on, man?
It's that AI again.
Yeah, something happened with our cameras in that opening. I don't know what's going on. I guess Bill's camera's good now? We good?
Yep.
All right. Welcome to our guests here, Tim Guerino, pastor at the Martinsburg Union Rescue Mission, purveyor of gifts and such.
Yeah.
What do I have here, man? This big old Steelers thing.
Yeah, that's the big Pittsburgh Steelers jewelry chain, whatever you want to call it.
Man,
How did they do this year, Rob?
they were 10-7. They started off 10-3.
How did they do in the playoffs?
Under the direction of Mike Tomlin, they did what they usually do, which is after the calendar flips to December, they suck.
Yeah.
Then they get blown out in the first round. And then Art Rooney extends them another 3 years, and we're stuck doing the same damn thing again. Does that answer your question, Admiral?
Past Tim, there's certain buttons you know which to push.
That's why when I saw that, I said, oh, I know who I'm giving this one to. Yeah. Hey, they might not be fancy on the field, but he could be fancy off the field. There you go.
That does look
Right
impressive,
there.
yeah.
Right there. That is pure silver.
That was a nice rant, too, Rob. That stirs us up.
Oh, I'm just answering a question. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What did you get, by the way, Bill?
I got a Donald Trump badge that starts off the...
It's a coin.
The Revenge Tour starts, or the beginning of the Revenge Tour.
I think that's a gold dollar.
I saw that. I said, this is Bill. Bill needs this. I know Bill wants that. And then John's got a nice one there, too.
Well,
But John can't read his.
No, I put my 3.25 reading glasses on, and I still can't read it. The print's too small.
Yeah.
It's a biblical scripture, though, right?
John's is a biblical scripture.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good one there.
Could you read it for me there,
Yeah.
Pastor?
Yeah. Comes out of Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar up on eagle wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint.
That's a lot on his coin.
And actually,
Continued on next coin.
That's a good scripture verse.
Continued, yeah.
my favorite biblical saying is from Isaiah.
Yep.
Come now, let us reason together.
Yep.
How'd that fit you? I think that's a good one for you, John.
Yeah. So I
Thank you.
Yeah, and I on my way in while I was listening this morning, I thought, okay, it worked out well with all three of you guys. I thought, I get this stuff. We get a lot of stuff given to us, and a lot of stuff we get, and it's just. I said, you know what? I'm gonna come with gifts this morning.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we would. Of course, brownies would have been equally appreciated.
No.
And I have something for you, too. I've been having this lovely yellow highlighter. I'd like to have that. I picked this out especially for you.
But we get a lot of stuff. We're blessed at the mission, and thanks for having me on. Let me share again about the mission. We're in busy time.
Hey, before you get into that, real quick,
Yeah, go
about
ahead.
the temperatures, the next 3 overnights
Yep.
are going to be insanely cold here. What
Yeah.
are the accommodations and
Oh,
how are you helping the community?
You know what? We're actually going to be doing a study on that here real soon, and how much we save the community, thousands and thousands of dollars because of what we do, and we don't charge people and we house people. Right now we have over 80 plus men staying with us right now at the mission, and we don't turn anybody away in the cold weather in this point in time. We also have the Haven House is full. It's about 30-some people, and then the Hope House in Berkeley Springs, the 9 beds for the ladies, that's full. So if you add all that up, we're about 120-some men, women, and children that we house every night.
But what about the others, Pastor Tim? What about the ones that are not in those 120, 130 folks?
No, now I would say, to answer that question, they are. I would say we're normally around 70-something. A lot of those folks now that normally don't come in are coming in. And they come in on the real cold nights. And if I've been doing this a long time now, and if it gets below in the teens at night or in the single digits, they come in. And they'll stay with us overnight. They follow all the rules, do what they're supposed to do. They come in. If they come in intoxicated, they still could come in. They sit in the foyer. They sit in the dining hall. They can get a shower. They can get warm clothes. We get them warm clothes. We get all that stuff. We're giving out hats, gloves, all that stuff. A lady sending us cases of emergency blankets. So we do all that stuff, and then they get sober, because you can't lay somebody that's intoxicated down. You guys ought to know what that is. They could throw up, choke on, and all that stuff. So legally, you can't just lay somebody down. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of what they call low barrier shelters. They lay people down, and they end up dying because they throw up.
Wow.
Or they choke on their vomit. So we sit them up. They get sober. They get to sleep. They get a cot. They get to sleep. But they get to stay warm the entire time. During the day, we're open. People come in. I showed up this morning at 7:30. We had people sitting in our foyer and in our dining hall, staying warm, drinking coffee, stuff like that. Now,
are your facilities open 24 hours a day? If
Yeah.
somebody, so
we're open 24/7.
So someone's there all the time.
All the time.
And
the police will bring people to
Yeah.
us late at night.
So I gather what you're saying. Even if all the beds are full,
We don't turn nobody away.
Don't turn away. So
We-
they can
we-
find somewhere to stay.
We have a
warm.
conference room we can lay down cots. We have a chapel where we fold up the chairs and we can lay down cots. We have the dining hall where we can lay down cots. We can, emergency-wise, house up to 120 people. So we will not turn anybody away, not in this kind of weather. This is, and now what will happen is the weather will break 30 and 40s. Those people that are usually in the camps, they'll go back out in the 30s and 40s. That's just, to them, that's not cold, so they'll go back out.
Yeah.
Okay? But when it gets below the 20s and in the single digits, they come in. And we house a lot. Our breakfasts, there's 75 to 100 people showing up for breakfast every morning, and that's not our guys. That's a lot of the community coming in, and they're getting warm. We have a lot of there's a lot of people. I don't want to get into all the politics. I try to stay away from that, but there's a lot of people who are renting out there that don't have heat, and they come into the mission, and we'll say, and they're there all day. I mean, literally all day. I'll even say to them, "Why? What's going on? Well, my apartment doesn't have heat."
Well, what about at night?
They go home to their apartments
But without any heat.
without any heat. It's their home.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get into all that. That's something the city needs to look into. It's not something I can get into, but we do what we can.
Yeah.
And we feed them. They sit there. They drink coffee. We drink a lot of coffee right now.
Yeah,
a lot of coffee.
And past Tim, I know you do. You're providing a phenomenal service to the community. But those individuals that do not come into your facilities voluntarily, what do the on these very, very, very cold nights, the Sheriff's Department and the Martinsburg Police Department, what do they do with the camps?
I couldn't speak to that.
Okay.
Honestly, I to answer that, I would give you false information
Fair
because
enough.
you would need to ask them. But what we do now, every one of those people come in for meals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they all come in for meals because we talk to them all the time. We give them gloves, we give them hats, we give them emergency blankets, we give all that stuff. We put it on it's like at the front counter right there. They come in, or we put it out on tables. They take it. And they'll come in and they'll say, "Hey, my socks are soaked. Can I get a pair of socks?" So we give them 2 new pairs of socks. "Hey, my pants are soaked. Can I go next door and get clothes?" So we give them a voucher. They can go next door and get clothes. All that stuff can be done. Now, if somebody, we live in a free country. If somebody chooses that's where they want to be and they want to stay out there, they stay out there. I would love for everybody to come in, but we're 80-some people at night. And we don't turn nobody away. And our average right now at this time of year is about the high 60s, low 70s, and over 80-some people. I'm seeing faces that I know that they're in camps when it's warmer that are in. And they're thanking us. They're thanking us, "Hey, Pastor Tim." And these are people who I would say they're doing certain things, but when they come in at this time, they know the rules to follow. You don't get in fights, you don't do this, you don't do that. Sorry about that, hit that again. But they do well, and then when the weather breaks in the 30s and 40s and 50s, they're back out again. But they're always in for meals. They always get stuff from us. We put a lot of stuff out on the tables that people bring in. We put the mittens, the hats, the gloves, socks, underwear. We give out a lot of underwear this time of the year because of the cold. We give out a lot of free vouchers. You go on our website, how many clothes we gave out last year. Not clothes, vouchers. It's almost like 6,000 vouchers. Now you times that times 10 articles of clothes per person. That's a lot of clothes we gave out. We gave out, not sold. And then we sell clothes for $1. I mean, you can't even go to Goodwill and get a brand new pair of jeans for $1, or a shirt for $1. And if we know they're coming in off the street, and we know they're coming in off the street, we don't charge them anything. They go in and get whatever they need, and out the door they go with all brand new clothes.
Okay, you say clothes. Are they brand new? Are they recycled clothes?
No, it's the people that donate clothes to us, we get them. I mean, I'll be honest with you, just like that right there, you stuff like this, brand new stuff. Nobody's ever worn it. Nobody's ever used it, touched it. I mean, we get clothes with tags on it. I mean, Macy's gave us all these jackets. We gave out a ton of jackets, brand new jackets that if you went in the store, they're $50-$60 a jacket. They gave us out jackets. You can see they're like blue and red and white jackets. You see a lot of people walking around with them. Yeah. We gave those jackets out. I mean, they're nice winter jackets.
Pastor Tim, I suspect you'll not know the specifics, but I'm asking kind of get in the general feel. Between you and the other rescue missions, or there other folks working with homeless, what % of the people are not being accommodated one way or the other?
It just depends. In this area, we accommodate. I mean, there's always a few that are going to stay out in this weather, no matter what. For whatever reason, they're going to stay out. And there's mental health issues. There's drug and alcohol issues. There's also control issues. Guys will keep women that they're using, they're abusing, they're trafficking. They will keep them out of places like us, out of places like Epic or Bethany House, because the three of us will talk those women to come in and get out of that situation. So they're going to keep those women in control, keep them out in the cold, keep them in the tents, keep them, to where they're basically treating them like animals. So you have that percentage. Now that's a small percentage in Martinsburg, but you get into cities like Winchester, Hagerstown, that percentage goes up, the numbers go up. You got some other issues, drug issues. So there's a lot of that goes on. So to answer that question, there's a percentage that's out there. I've done this in New York. I've done this in West Virginia. I came from California with a much bigger homeless population. For some reason, you're always going to have that population that's not going to come inside. They're just not going to come in. You could stand and have a band play for them as they come in. They're not going to come inside. It's just the way it is. There's government agencies will sit there and do studies and do all this stuff, and it's like I've been doing this over 40 years in New York and California, the two major states with the largest homeless. Okay, I come here and I listen to some of the stuff, and I'm like, oh Lord, that's stuff that you talked about back in the 80s and stuff that didn't work. The bottom line is we build relationships with people, and relationships is what brings people through the door. Most of our people have come up through the program, so they understand when they're talking to somebody coming in for the first time or the second time or the third time, that they're talking to somebody who's come in, who themselves came in from the outside into the mission and come in through the programs. When I came here, we had to clean up a lot of things. The mission dropped down to about 29 men at one time. I had people coming to me saying, I said, no, because there's just need to be some changes. The clean and sober environment we needed to work on and stuff like that. Now we're running upper 60s, 70s, and now we're in the 80s. And these are men and women and children now that are wanting to stay clean, sober, and get jobs. We helped 225 men and women last year get full-time jobs outside the mission. We hired a lot of people through the mission programs into positions. Really neat things are taking place. Served over 114,000 meals. 114,000 meals to the community and stuff at large. This is all done with no government funding whatsoever, no government stuff. You know all the stuff we do. Vouchers, the thrift store, the recycling. I can't even tell you. Right now, we need a box truck. Our box truck is broken down on us. We need either used or brand new one. It's about $60,000. We're doing a box truck campaign because our box truck goes around and picks up a lot of stuff. I mean, that's how we get what we get.
How old is the box truck?
It's 2006, and the part that's needed, it can't be found. We have that, yeah. And Stevens Towing, and they do a lot of the trucks at Stevens. they've called all kinds of places, and it's just they basically are Jimmy rigging our box truck just to make it to the next till we get a new one.
Yeah, right.
And they've tried everywhere to get the part. They don't even make the part anymore.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
and it's very frustrating because without that box truck, we lose a lot because we have to go out and get a lot of supplies and all kinds of stuff where they just put it on a pallet and put it in the forklift.
Yeah.
Steve Roach and CCAP has helped us out. We had to do a pickup down in someplace, I forget the name of the town in West Virginia, and they let us borrow a box truck to go down and get supplies. I mean, we're hurting right now because without that box truck, it really hurts us to bring in the supplies we need to all the people we work with. We work with thousands. We work with men, women, children, all ages, all backgrounds, all politics, no religion. You know that, Bill. We work with everybody. And
you do that, yep.
Yeah, we work with the different agencies, send people to us for probation. You name it. Community service. Volunteers are needed there. It's a busy time of the year, January, because of the weather. I mean, we're swamped. We're always open. People are calling this morning, is the mission open? We're open. We're never closed. We don't close. We just don't. Our footprint. One of our board members, her name's Terry. We're working on putting together what the mission saves the community by what we do financially, taking people in, feeding people, housing people. I mean, we're housing literally 120 some men, women, and children every night. What other organization that's nonprofit that doesn't get any government funding does that? There isn't. Okay, the next one would be hospital, which gets government funding. The VA gets government funding. The jail gets government funding. The school, they don't house people, but they feed people, gets government funding. We get no government funding, and we're doing all that. You know we're saving people money. You know we're saving the taxpayer money because we do it. We have to be good stewards with everything we get. We just can't spend money here and there. That's why we have to come to the public when our truck breaks down and goes, we need help.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
How do you contribute to the box truck fund, Tim?
You can go online, MartinsburgUnionRescueMission.com. You'll see it on there. You can hit the button. There's an anonymous donor gave us $5,000 that if people can to get the ball rolling, that they wanted to donate, that they'll match it up to $5,000, and we need a total of about $60,000 to get a new, or I say new, it's new to us, used box truck back on the road, get going again. But this community has been a great community.
Where are you with your building campaign?
Well, we don't have a building campaign right now, but that might happen real soon with the Hope House.
Okay.
Because I might have an announcement in the next month or two where we're going to put the permanent Hope House, where we might have a possibility of some land.
Okay, the Hope House been what?
That's the female, because right now it's only 9 beds.
Yeah.
And between us, Bethany House, and Epic, the beds are full, nonstop. And that's another population, like everything else. It's growing in the...
For a new Hope House, what is your goal in terms of number of beds?
We would hope to be able to double it to maybe 18.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got 9, we'd go to 18.
Right.
If everything works out the way, and I don't want to be premature here and say something that I'm not supposed to, and then the people and over me come say, not yet, Tim, because I'm always ahead. I'm already down the road.
Yeah.
But that's something that I hope that's going to happen real soon.
Okay.
And then we got that, and then we got a couple other things we're gonna be doing, because I'm a veteran, and 70% of the men we work with are veterans.
Yeah.
So there's something else I'm hoping we can get going here real soon also. We even have some ladies that stay at the Hope House. They're veterans. So there's a lot of neat things that are going to take place. But again, what we do for the community is a lot cheaper than if the government had to do it, or even private industry, because private industry is expensive. Rehabs are expensive. So we're doing a cost analysis of by housing somebody, feeding them 3 meals a day, doing all the stuff we do for one person, and you add that up by the hundreds and thousands of people we help. It's going to be a big cost saving to the community at whole. I know people look at us and our area. We police our area. We clean it. We have guys that go out and clean the streets, clean the sidewalks, clean the parking lots, pick up the trash, do all that stuff, because that's vital. That's vital to keep our area clean and nice and presentable when people go up and down the street and see things. So we're always doing that, and it's this time of the year we're concerned. We're open. We have what we call the 40 rule, the 40 degrees rule. Anything below 40 degrees, all the rules are out the door. People can come in, except if you're violent. I mean, if you're violent, we're not going to tolerate that.
Right.
I mean, because then it makes everybody uncomfortable. Then nobody wants to stay because they're afraid they're going to be hurt. So you're violent, we just call the police and say, hey, there's a place for you. It's called the jail. You stay there. You know, you'll be warm. Trust me, you'll be warm.
Yeah, right.
But, I mean, they get to come in. And I mean, I walked in this morning, the place was packed.
Tim, I want to go a different direction now, and I acknowledge, I think we all recognize that you and others have gone the step beyond in accommodating the need of our community, and I applaud you and everybody else there. Is there a niche that is being unaddressed right now? Is there a population that we need to do something different, something more?
About 2 minutes on that.
Yeah,
Tim.
mental health. Mental health.
Okay.
Folks with severe mental health illness that you would call chronically homeless. They're chronically homeless because they suffer mental illness, and we have several that stay with us that they abide by the rules. The rules are a little looser for them because if you can't really do that to them because they have to have their mind. But we have a lot that stay with us, and then there's a few that can no longer stay with us because they're off their meds. It's just they get too violent. But mental health, that's huge. Coming from California where they had stuff for people like that, coming here where they don't have anything, that's huge. Mental health is huge. I would say that, and especially among the females, we see the biggest devastation among females.
Yeah. One of our listeners just mentioned that Bethany House may be closing because of lack of funds. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's why I say it's not easy out there what we do, and then I did not hear that. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that because we don't need another place closing.
They said maybe, so maybe there's still hope.
Yeah.
I know it fluctuates, but generally speaking, what's the average homeless population in Martinsburg on a given day?
I know they're going to be doing the point and count coming up here in January. I think they said around, I think there's like 200 something at the last point and count, but don't quote me on that. You could look it up, last point and count for the 2024. I know January's the point and count. In the next couple of weeks, they have people going around doing the point and count. So it's something like that. But again, the female population, we don't need less, we need more. But I thank the public. I think all that is done here. We're working on some other things to sustain us. We're working on doing another business for the mission, like we did with the thrift store, maybe another thrift store, maybe something else. That also helps sustain the income of what we're doing and helps also put people to work.
Tim, I'm sure I'm speaking for the vast majority of the community in thanking you and folks like you for what you're doing for the ones that need help right now.
Yeah, and it's a team effort, and I appreciate that, Bill, and I appreciate you guys have been very kind to me. But I'm just the face of a team that does the work, and they're out there doing it every day. And I'm just a team, and the community, the donors, the community is a big thing. But one of the things we're trying to do is create some businesses that we can hire folks from within, but also sustain some of our income to our costs and the general fund, what they call it, and the general operations stuff. But thank you, Bill. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, John. Nice to meet you. And
thank you, Pastor Tim.
Oh yeah. And
yes,
again,
thank you.
Again, MartinsburgUnionRescueMission.com. Hit the donate button. If you want to volunteer, come on down. We can use you to volunteer. Same thing. MartinsburgUnionRescueMission.com today.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, sir.
Pastor Tim Guerino, and we take our break here. This segment